Good morning, good morning, good morning. I thought today I'm going to just go live instead of recording a video in the morning and talk about this one phrase that many of us have actually been hearing on social media mostly. And I wanted to give it a little bit of a different take. And this is the phrase that you can use for yourself to remind yourself to keep going. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you are after, use this phrase to just keep going, okay? Because anything that we are trying to acquire in our life that is new, whether it's a new habit, whether it's a new routine, whether it's a new job, whether it's a new child, whether it's a new diet, anything new requires an adjustment period. And usually that adjustment period is about 30 days, depending on what it is that you're doing and depending how consistent you are with it. It's 30 days consistency with it. And that's why having these motivational phrases, these inspirational phrases to help us keep going are very, very helpful, valuable, significant, and they're there for a purpose, and that is their purpose. So this is the phrase: hold the line. Hold the line. And we've heard about this phrase with everything that's going on right now, to just stand your ground, hold the line. And the same thing goes for when you are at a battle with yourself. Do I keep going? Do I quit? Do I want to continue suffering because this sucks? Or do I just go back to the comforts? And when you just simply remind yourself, hold the line, just stay where you are. And that can help you to move forward. It's better to stay exactly where you are than to take a few steps backwards. Now, mind you, that those 2 steps backwards could exactly be the thing that will help you to finally have my windows open. It's nice and breezy. Might be the actual thing that helps you to finally get it and finally do something about it. Or it might require a few of these backward steps. But we all do that. Every single person takes a few steps forward and a few steps back. 1 step forward, a few steps back. And this yo-yo process is actually very important as well, because it's there to remind you of how much you actually want it. Because initially when you decided you wanted to do this, you were excited about it, you were curious about it, you really wanted to have it, acquire it, whether it is something physical or whether it is something for you, right? Like for me, it's mastering myself, mastering my mindset, because if once I master my mindset, everything else falls into place. So that is a lifelong journey. So I will continue to master my mind because new things will always come up. And that is a very clear indication that you are actually doing the work and growing, even if it might not feel like you are. Because when you are in that place, as I am too, in that place where you feel constricted and you feel like you're not doing much, you're not achieving much, yet you're still doing something, because you're not just sitting on your ass in the corner and rocking in yourself and crying the whole entire day. Maybe that's where you are. And then the next thing will be to sit on the couch and do that, move somewhere place else, right? It's all about little steps. And when we continue to outgrow ourselves, is what I'm saying. And that is another way of how, like what I refer to as spiritual awakening, is that we continue to grow and evolve. We have new awakenings, new realizations. For some of us, it's monthly. For some of us, it's weekly, depending where we're at. But we all go through it. We all go through these growing times, and it's important to tools to help you get through it, because there's no going around it, nor would you want to, right? Why would you stop your progress? Why would you stop your growth? You would want to keep going. So use the tools to help yourself to move forward. And that tool today is hold the line. That can, for me, it instantly gives me hope. It instantly gives me hope that it will get better, that if I just stick with it, that today is just a really crappy day, and it's okay if I can function because I'm emotionally drained. I too have things that I deal with. In my family here and in my family outside of here, those that I lived with, right? We all have things that we're dealing with. And that affects us emotionally and affects me emotionally. And knowing my human design, knowing that, on top of it being an empath, that energy, just, I take that in. And if I don't release it, then that's where I'm at. And sometimes it is also beneficial for me to go through that, to have that, because then it reminds me of certain things, and in turn I also get to learn lessons, or reminder lessons, or new lessons and new awarenesses, like with this phrase of, hold the line, stand your ground, is just simply for those days particularly that you don't want to keep going. You don't want to do anymore. You're just tired and you want to stay in bed all day and not do anything. And try it out with that phrase. See how it works. Hold the line. Stand your ground. Stick with it. Whichever one sticks with it. Sticks with you. And see how that goes. See how that feels for you. And if it gives you a little bit of hope, a little bit of something, okay, so what is the one tiny little thing that I can do right now that will help me to move this thing or myself forward? Just one tiny little thing. If it's go take a bath, go take a bath, right? Do your hair in the bath. My hair is still wet and drying. If it's go for a walk, you go for a walk. Did both of those today. If it's open the windows, you open the windows. I did that too today as well. If it's do a video, then do a video. I did 2 of them today. So what I'm saying is that some days we will need to do more of our medicines, of our tool, use more of our tools than other days. And it's just a matter of going and doing them. And that's it. It sounds simple, I know, but I also know, and you know this, that the hardest part is starting. So when you feel that sense of hope, that tiny little burst of energy, I want you to count to 5 and then go and do it. You can count, or maybe from 5 to 1, backwards. Count backwards because it kind of disrupts your, it takes you away from thinking too much, and it just focuses you on it. And think about what it is that you want to do, that one tiny little step, and then count from 5 to 1 and then go and do it. That's a 5-second rule, by the way, in case you guys don't know, haven't heard of it. There's a book called 5-Second Rule from Mel Robbins. She's awesome. Great tips, great advice as well. So check her out and do that rule, right? Tiny little shimmer, glimmer of hope, energy. Decide what it is that you want to do, one tiny little step. If you're able to just get up and go, then get up and go. But if there's still a tiny bit of hesitation or resistance or something, then do the 5-second rule. I also like to write reminders with pens and markers in my hand. I know. It's ink, it's poison, Yana. Don't put that on your skin. I know. But I honestly haven't even thought of finding something non-toxic to put on the skin. just like the ones that I use most of the time is the markers. But mind you, sometimes they're Sharpies. Yeah, something to think about. But anyways, right, trying to live a clean life here. But I would write reminders on my hand where I will always see, and it's always my left hand for me. So for me, this is my canvas right here. Okay, for here I'm gonna get a tattoo, but for here this is gonna be my canvas where I can take notes and reminders for myself. And sometimes, well, not so much here because the veins are here, but it's really just like on the edge and the bones, but still. And reminders of like the 5-second rule, for example, because today I just really I'm struggling to get started. So today I'm going to focus on the 5-second rule, and I'm going to use that as a reminder. So every time I will see that, I'm like, oh, okay, like it. And then whatever it is that I'm hesitating to do, I use the 5-second rule and do it. Right. Or some days it might be just dance or shake or something, right? It's different every day. And for me, that's the exciting part. I know for some people that's the anxiety causing part. So that's why, if that's not for you, then you find the 1 or 2 or 3 things that work for you, and you can rotate them or just stick with one. And until you feel like it's no longer working, then you can switch to the other, right? We're all built a little bit different, but we all need a little bit of like pushes and reminders. But pick what works for you. If you are the type that likes to do the same thing every day, then do that. If you're like me, that gets bored very quickly and easily, not with people, by the way, because people are always interested. They're always bringing something new. But with this doing the same thing over and over again, it does get to be a little, that's to me is what causes me anxiety. Unless it's, or there's like 2 or 3 light switches and they're in the opposite directions and both lights are off, then for me that bothers me. That's my OCD where I'll have to fix it. So anyways, that is all for you guys for today. I feel like that's more than enough. Let me know how that was, and most importantly, what are you gonna do after you watch this video? What are you going to do with all this information that you have just received? And when are you going to do it? That's it. Thank you. And until next time. Bye, guys.